Yeah.
Fine. No, it's okay. Okay, it is 6:35 and we will open session, continue our meeting. Lori, District Mission, Vision, and Values, and our Board of Education collective commitments.
Bangor School District Mission, Vision, and Value Statement. Mission, Bangor Pride, a small school building big futures. Vision, an innovative small school creating excellence through personalized learning and relationships for all. Values, student-centered, safety, opportunities for all, small class sizes, fiscally sustainable, foster community, continuous improvement, and professionalism. The Board of Education collective commitments. As a member of the Bangor School Board, I will be an active listener who is open-minded, respectful, and inquisitive. Together with one collective voice, we are committed to forward thinking while strategically prioritizing for our students, staff, and community now and into the future.
Thank you, Lori. Public comment. Approval of the minutes from March 13th.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Second.
Motion made by Shelley, seconded by Lori. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Student report.
And we do have two student reports tonight. We have the elementary report after Alicia.
We'll start with the middle high school.
Our ACT Makeup Day happened last week with 4 of our students taking it. Our juniors will be hosting prom this Saturday starting at 7 p.m. going until 11 p.m. this year. The Kiwanis banquet took place last night, recognizing one of our very own seniors, Cody Peterson. Tonight there is an honors banquet held at UWL for our top 2% of our senior class. Our music students returned from Florida and had a successful trip. NHD has the results of our state qualifying students with a total of 8 qualifiers and 2 alternates. Math team participated in the Twin Bluff competition with the results coming in today. FCCLA is currently at a conference with 8 students along and got back today. Our 7th graders will be leaving for Poinet this coming Tuesday, the 16th, returning that Thursday, the 18th. Our 6th grade students will be leaving for Washington, D.C., April 24th, and coming back on the 28th. Solo and ensemble students performed last Saturday, having a total of 6 students make it to the regional competition held at UWL in 2 weeks. Students of their choice will be attending an education day next week, Wednesday the 17th, with Ms. Schultz supervising. On the 24th of April, students again of their choice will be attending a career fair held at the Omni Center to learn more about the construction program. Our annual FFA banquet will be held Sunday, April 21st in this room. Everyone is welcome. The high school track team will be holding their annual Bruce Brewer Invite Meet April 20th. And our middle school spring concert will be on May 7th. That's all.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
She said that's all, like that wasn't very much. It's a crazy time of year. Thank you, Alicia.
I feel like I learn a lot.
I know.
Hello, School Board. Our elementary school has accomplished and are looking forward to many great opportunities and events that I am delighted to have the privilege to share with you all this evening. To start off, every single teacher my friends and I interviewed was ecstatic about the new addition, grateful for space, storage, and how exciting it was for it to be open for everyone to use and enjoy. As I'm sure you all know, the total eclipse took place on Monday. Though we did not experience the full 100% eclipse, it was a fascinating experience that I'm sure many students, including myself, will remember. And a grateful thank you for the eclipse classes so we could all watch safely. Our April word of the month is flexible, which is quite fitting considering the hallways being blocked and having to be flexible with the construction going on and teachers getting used to new rooms. This year is the Jump Rope for Heart program's 100th anniversary. With it being so, the characters are hearts to honor the program. Students have the chance to win many prizes, including 2 Super Bowl tickets, an avocado warmie, and for simply signing up after completing Finn's mission. and after completing 5th mission, earn a free stress ball. Currently, all grades are taking their jump rope per heart unit in physical education up until the program ends. 3rd through 5th grade are currently taking the Wisconsin Forward test to show what we've got to the state and prove the knowledge we have built up over the school year. The old 1st, 2nd, 3rd, and 4th grade classrooms are currently under construction to be turned into bathrooms in the new cafeteria. April being the month of poetry, Ms. Payton is making sure to give all grades their fill of the wonderful world of poetry books and giving all a chance to check out books on poetry and try it for themselves. Choir and all grades are working hard to prepare for the spring concert to show what they know in their beautiful voices and instruments to the school and family. Make a Difference is still in progress of making hearts to hand out to people in need of one and really just to spread kindness. Currently in Odyssey of the Mind, 3 groups are heading to the World Finals in Ames, Iowa on May 21st to 24th. They are currently fundraising to earn money for the trip, $730 per person, 22 people including the coaches and not counting parent chaperones. Every team has clearly worked hard to get where they are now. As of today, there are approximately 41 days and a bit more than a month left of the school year, which absolutely blows my mind. It really went by in a flash, and so much has happened over the school year. We all truly have grown. Thank you for your time.
Very nice.
Thank you for being here. Thank you for your time. Thanks to both of you.
2 great young leaders. Thank you, ladies.
All right. Board President's report. School board election results. We want to congratulate Lisa Horstman and Tina Matheson for their re-election. And we want to welcome Jessica Munson, who will now be representing the Village of Bangor on our board. And when will we install her into office? Next meeting?
Yeah, before the,
4th Monday, the 22nd, she takes office.
yeah, but she has to be sworn in before that. So I think she's planning on attending Monday's special meeting, and we'll swear her in at that
All
point.
right, super great.
Even though Lori will still be acting until the 22nd.
All right, thank you. Perfect. All right, board member recognition. We want to thank Lori Horstman for her 12 years of service to the Bangor School District as a school board member. She first represented the Village of Rockland and finished her time on the board representing the Village of Bangor.
Thank you.
Thank you for all your work.
Oh, thanks.
Get a picture here. You get to hold this.
No lavender in the picture.
Can I just say a couple things?
Yes. Lori would like to say a couple of things.
Yeah, I promise I won't take too much time, but I just wanted to say that the last 12 years have gone by super fast. I figure that I started when the boys were in 3rd grade, and now they're graduating from tech school, so it's appropriate. I think the experience has been good because one of the things is I don't think people truly understand what it really goes into being on the school board. And until you live it, you don't really get a full picture. So I would encourage people to, really take a look at it. I'm thankful for participating with this board. I think that our community is in very good hands with our administrative team. I think that our community is also in good hands with the oversight that we all have had over the last 12 years, because a lot of us have been together for a long time. But I also think we keep an open mind on what we can do differently. So I feel like I leave this in very good hands. So go forth and continue to keep putting the kids first. And I think if we do that, we're good.
Thank you, Lori. Nicely said. Thank you very much. All right, we do have a special meeting. We're planning on 6:30 special board meeting on April 15th to hear a proposal from the Insurance Center on a new medical insurance plan. This will be a one-item meeting that will allow the board time, sufficient time actually, to learn about what options are out there and decide to move forward with a new plan or renew our existing medical coverage for the 24-25 school year. So we will meet in the library on Monday, April 15th at 6:30.
And just a reminder, we will not be running a video broadcast of that. And we have two great options in front of us with time to learn about them. Both would be a 0% impact cost change from this year. So that's an outstanding place to be. Just looking at what the best choice is for us for moving forward. So just a little bit more about that. Thank you.
And Policy Committee, Dr. Brockup will be meeting with Neola in the next couple of weeks, and he will set up a committee meeting sometime before our May meeting, prior to the May meeting. All right, moving on, district financials.
We had a couple questions on the financials. I think Angie got those turned around and answered. I answered one via text message. So if there are no other questions regarding the financials, we'd look for approval of those for the month. Thank you.
I'll make a motion to approve the financials as presented, including the Fund 21 checks, general account checks, and April 2024 financial report.
I'll second.
Motion by Shelley, seconded by Joni. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Thank you. All right, facility projects update.
This could probably be the longest presentation that I've given yet on this, but I'm going to try to make it fairly short. I say the longest because I think we have the most workers on site and working in the most different places all over the place. We're seeing things from completion happening at the elementary in the 10 classrooms and teaching in our new spaces to breaking ground for the first time at the activity center since last month. It has been everything good and a couple of challenging things along the way. But you can see in the packet, there's lots of pictures of kind of the status of where things are right now. In the next couple months, we'll get a couple more tours and get through those facilities. Just a couple things to note. One, the flexibility word for the elementary could not be more accurate. And I thank Mike and his team and the students for their flexibility and making all of the things happen that are happening down there. We've hit a lull there for 3 days because there was agreement that the contractors have not been working during the state testing. So it is nice and quiet for them to get their work done. Hard to see halls blocked off and no work going on, but well worth it to create that environment. And I think Mike will talk a little bit more about that, I'm sure. Here at the weight room addition, things are going really well. We continue, weekly to look at the schedule and talk about, okay, who's coming in after that and who's coming in after that. And then and items are here. The air handler is in transit right now and will be here next week. Glass should be going in the front of that tomorrow. Things are really, really moving along there, and I don't foresee any major hiccups. We get a chance to see the new weight room equipment, or at least a sample of it, at the state football convention last week, and it looks amazing. We got lots of people as they walked around the corner and saw it, eyes wide open and pretty excited about what they saw. So that was a lot of fun. We're excited to have that in here and in place. The tech ed edition is coming incredibly well, and you're starting to see a lot more masonry. Most of it that you can't see from the interstate is done. So now they'll be coming out around where you can see from the interstate. That area is looking amazing, and looking forward to getting in there this summer and kind of dividing up that space as we've talked about in the past. Activity center, those unforeseens, I haven't seen a number on this. I don't expect it to be good, but when you talk about unforeseens, they did where they were putting a bathroom in one of those changing rooms. That changing room was kind of updated when they tore off the old building. They went in, they drew out there on the floor where they were going to cut. They started cutting the floor. They pulled up the concrete, they started digging, and they realized immediately that there's another floor about 6 inches down from the old high school that they just had covered and poured another floor over. So unforeseen, we had no idea that was going to be there. Very manageable at this point in time, but those are the types of things that I'm sure we'll have a couple more surprises like that. But they're pretty well into those areas over there where anything unforeseen would pop up. Other than that, I guess, is there any questions, any community questions that you guys are hearing about what's going on at any of the 3 sites? That I'll let it be then.
I did hear again that people really appreciated during the Lions Pancake Breakfast that tours were given. And we talked about that last meeting, but I've heard it again within the last month from numerous people.
Yeah.
And even people that didn't go on the tour said it was sure nice they were giving tours.
Yeah, it was a good thing. It was nice for people to see it, and it's even more beautiful now that it's finished, and seeing it full of kids. It's just such a neat environment. Mike can talk to this more. But it's just the materials that were used and the construction and everything. It's just a quiet space and nice, bright learning spaces, and our kids are very fortunate to be learning in that environment. So, all right, thank you.
Okay, you can continue with the budget planning timeline.
Yeah, I wanted to give you guys a couple documents here because as we talked about over the last couple of months, or just one document with the referendum timeline that I've worked on with Baird a little bit. April tonight, our board meeting, we will be looking at the staffing plan and starting some of the insurance renewals. We'll finish those insurance renewals hopefully on Monday night. May, we'll talk a little bit about staff compensation for next year as we kind of work to finalizing that budget. June, you're going to see the last minute purchases with the 23-24 budget as things settle in there. You may see some of those in May as well as we work through the end of this year's budget. July, we really put that framework together. There's a lot of numbers we don't know yet at the July meeting, but I will be giving you an update on kind of where we stand for the 24-25 budget. That will be part of the process with the operational referendum that we would be looking at in November. Lots of information gathering, which is on the other document there. August, setting a resolution if we choose to do so for the operational referendum in November. October, reminder, that's really when we set the budget and when we set the tax levy for 24-25. And I'll say every chance that I get, remember we under levied by $150,000 this year, holding true to our commitment to maintain that steady mill rate for our community. And I think that was an important part of that and what we will take care of in October. Anything that we project before that becomes finalized in October. November we would potentially see the operational referendum question on the ballot. If you take a look at the referendum timeline, this is from a Baird spreadsheet, just gives you an idea. As we look at May, our May 8th board meeting, Kim Zabel from Baird will be with us here and just presenting a little bit on the Baird model, setting the stage for the district needs, cost estimates over the next 3 to 5 years, referendum options for us moving forward, and those types of things. After that, we started that conversation. We start thinking about the referendum. We will be in contact with bond counsel and getting some ideas of what that would look like. Baird will help us with that process. June through August is really going to be gathering a lot of information, educating, and meeting with community groups and making sure that questions are answered. August would be analyzing that data, really August through September, and getting the information out there, educating electors, making sure that everybody understands why we're asking for what we're asking for. And then the August 7th through the approval of the resolution, or August 7th would be approval of resolution. August 27th, we have to have the final resolution paperwork into the state. And then, really from that point on until November 5th would be educating the community and making sure that people understand what's on the ballot, and November 5th being the ballot question. So, again, just wanted to give you a timeline, give our community a timeline, let folks know that this is what we're working towards, and some of the steps that will take place along the way. Any questions kind of on our 2023 budget, 2024 budget, 25 and beyond budgeting process and potential referendum? All right. Thank you.
Thank you. Any questions? All right. So we have some action items. Overnight field trip request for Odyssey of the Mind World Competition. There's some little letter there from Mrs. Gerke, our Bangor School District OM coordinator.
Yeah, I'm going to give just a little bit of history on this. First of all, we had 6 teams participate, and they did an amazing job in Madison at the state competition. I think one of the things to, with all of the great hard work that the groups put in, we had 6 teams, and there were a total of 10 at the state competition from the whole entire state. So only a couple of categories there was actually competition where they had to compete against another team. Some of our teams did beautifully, but did not compete against another team to qualify. We knew that going into it, and Deb and I had some conversations in last year when the teams competed against no one. We did not send those teams to the world competition. We kind of agreed that made sense ahead of time, and Deb said, I don't want to tell them before the competition because we don't want that to taint their going into it. When we mentioned that afterwards, we realized very quickly that we probably should have told them beforehand. And we had lots of people very, very much interested in their heart set on going to the competition. I had a conversation with Deb and a few of the coaches where we really just kind of identified, what are you asking for? And we're looking at almost $17,000 or right around $17,000, plus I'm sure some other expenses for families while they do this. But that would be about $17,000 to send the teams and their coaches to the competition. And we talked about, is that feasible for our community? Is that something that we want to do? The coaches went back to their parents, and basically we have 3 teams that said, yes, we want to go. And if that means we have to write the entire check for $730 for our kids, we will write the check for $730 for our kids because we want our kids to have this experience. What came from that then with that commitment from the families, and they understood what the district's contribution would be for transportation. I actually don't have a van because we're still in school. I don't have a school bus or a driver that I could send. So we kind of calculated out we'd have probably spent about $500 of district resources to transport, as we have for national type competitions or world competitions. So we are donating $500 of district money towards that cause, and the rest of that will either be fundraised or paid for by the families involved. And they understand fully that I am not going to present to you a activity account balance with a huge deficit in it because of this. They're responsible for this. And I will tell you, they've responded well. They're understanding, and they're working hard on their fundraising. You'll see some of that on social media and those types of things. And I hope our community does support these groups. It's a great opportunity for these students. And they did a wonderful job at their competitions. One of the realities for this is moving forward. I said, let's have the conversation right now before we even put teams together next year. If you go to the state competition and there's nobody to compete against, you're not going to go to the world competition. And everybody was in agreement with that, and actually had some conversations about what other things we could do, because I don't think Bangor School District is going to hold the statewide Odyssey of the Mind program together. So our 6 teams is not going to make a statewide Odyssey of the Mind program. It's kind of going away, dwindling across the state, which is sad because, again, it's a great opportunity for our kids. But I wanted to just be clear with the board on, the conversations that we had. I truly believe, unless there's a huge surge in popularity again, this will be the last time that the district is contributing to something like this, and unless there are multiple more teams that get involved with that. But we do want to support these kids. They worked really hard, and we want to allow them to have this opportunity. So looking for your approval for the overnight field trip, with an understanding of the district's commitment and the family's commitment to making this happen.
As a former OM or OM mom, this breaks my heart, but I understand it. I mean, you can't. They're just competing against themselves, unfortunately. But
just out of my own curiosity, because I don't know, do you anticipate a lot of participation at Worlds? Is it just Wisconsin that has an issue, or is they going to get to Worlds and there's 3 teams there?
What I have been told is that Worlds will be a much larger competition. I know that Tina went to it last year. You want to speak to what?
It is amazing. And it's across, it's not just the U.S., you have other countries coming in, and the amount of people and the socialization and their view on a world and different interactions with kids is amazing. So it is nothing like state competition. And there are so many things that go with it. Their experience and growth will be huge. So it is very big. It is, we were in Michigan last year, and the stadium was packed. And I think next year, there should be a lot of conversation in regards to competition, because even the teams that didn't have competition, they scored well. And there are certain key things that you have to hit to do, and there's goals and their objectives. And these kids work 6 months to get to it. So even if they don't have competition, they may have hit those scores that they should be competing, because they're put on the spot in so many different ways, and the things that they learn
Yeah, OM scoring is different. It's not like that competitive. It's just every team you really compete against yourself in a way. And I'm with Joni. I coached OM for over a decade, and it saddens my heart. And I also was at Worlds. I was in Maryland and I was in Iowa, and it is electrifying because there are people from Australia, Japan, it's England. It's amazing.
But that is something to remember, though. Just because you didn't compete against others, you still had to qualify. You didn't just get a pass because you showed up. You still have to reach a certain
There used to be sub-regionals and then regionals. And
Amy's first year, they beat 17 teams. I mean, it's sad to see that it's dwindled.
So I would assume the expense mostly pertains to lodging and food, and obviously that is just the expense of the individual student that's participating. So the expense on a family, if they all go, is going to be great. So as long as you guys have open communication and they're open and upfront with what they're going to have to put forward, I guess I don't see the problem of why they wouldn't want to continue doing it.
Right. I mean, for as long as I can remember, this district has not paid for these trips ever, really. I mean, it's been a nominal donation. So, I mean,
it's been fundraising, exactly.
Yeah. I sold a lot of hot dogs in the old park to pay for trips. A lot of hot dogs. So, I hope it's open conversation, because I don't want to just say we're done. I want to see. But in the meantime, I will make a motion to approve this overnight travel for approximately 19 students and 4 coaches to attend Odyssey of the Mind World Competition in Ames, Iowa.
Second.
Motion made by Joni, seconded by Kelly. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Thank you. 2024-2025 staff plan.
Yeah, we've talked about this a little bit. Just looking at the enrollment cohorts over time, there's two documents in your packet, just giving you a perspective of where our counts have been in fall and winter for the third Friday count and second Friday in January counts over the past few years, and then what we are projecting, including at our open enrollments, in for next year. So it'll change a little bit. When I look back at our projections that we did last year, I think we were maybe 6 kids high on our projection, and we might be 6 or 7 kids high on this projection too. For the most part, those are in places where we can absorb those changes up and down a little bit. But we are definitely seeing the flag there with the 4K and 50 kids that Mike and Terry have really been working hard on trying to nail down and get all the paperwork for. So for that reason, on the other document, attached there, you can see the staffing plan, and you can see the 23-24 school year, how many teachers, support staff in each building, district people, all of those types of positions, and the staffing plan for 24-25 being as noted there, with the highlighted difference of one additional teacher, creating that third section of 4K. As we've talked about this, our goal for 4K has been a 10-to-1 ratio, which means we will keep class sizes at 20 and 20 with a para, and have the third section, the new section of 4K, be one teacher with 10 students, and that we would have some para support from the other rooms and with the bathrooms that are shared between them and the new space next year to help cover that. We'll work all those types of pieces out, but we are not asking for another para position at this point in time. We are asking for just that one certified teaching position. We would be very clear in the interview process and communicating this is an enrollment-driven decision. If 4K numbers do not stay at this rate for the following year, then this person may not have a position after that. So we would be very clear with them up front on that. Any questions? Otherwise, we'd look for approval for the 24-25 staffing plan.
I'll make a motion to approve the 24-25 staffing plan as presented, with the addition of a 4K teacher to meet the current enrollment projections of 50 4K students starting with the 2024-2025 school year.
Second.
Motion made by Lisa, seconded by Joni. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Thank you. 2024-2025 CISA 4 contract.
Yeah, in the past, I've actually had these in the consent agenda for the CISA 4 contracts. We've had our contracts with CISA for many years. There's a couple of changes this year that I wanted to note just to explain. The CISA 4 contract, as it's presented here at a cost of $163,418, is not a guarantee. Some of that is figuring so many hours at so much rate. It's a ballpark, so that always changes a little bit throughout the year, whether we use all of that time, and sometimes we use more of that time. But we are agreeing to the rates and kind of a base level of service through the contract. This service or this contract does have a couple of things. Does not have a couple things that the contract did last year. So one, the SIS program that Mike has really been a part of for multiple years, he is not going to be a part of next year. So it was about a $6,000 cost for him to be a part of that each year. And it was not just Mike, it was an admin, but Mike was the person who went and attended those meetings, brought back a lot of really great things that helped guiding our PLCs and helped guiding the guiding coalitions. But we're in a really good place with those, so that we're not going to attend that this year. The other part, as you'll see in the next item, is the CISA 10 environmental health and safety contract. Has been part of our CISA 4 contract forever, and we have paid that money forever towards the environmental health and safety work that we get through CISA 10. CISA 10 decided this year, or CISA 4 and CISA 10 together decided to separate that out, so we have a separate contract there. So I just wanted to show you that. So if we look at it, we still have an increase in cost from last year's $152,000 to this year's $163,000 in the CISA 4, and that is largely in our related special ed services and our OT, PT, sign language interpreting, all of our sign language, or what? Help me out, Josh. What's
It'd be the deaf and hard of hearing.
Deaf and hard of hearing
teacher.
Yep. Thank you. So those types of programs that we contract through CISA, instead of having a full-time person here, we get them for just the hours that we need them here, and they go to multiple CISA districts. So again, that was a more lengthy description than you usually get, but I wanted to be clear on what you're approving there. But we would look for approval of the CISA 4 contract for 24-25.
I'll make a motion to approve the 2024-2025 contract with CISA 4 at a cost of $163,418.
I'll second that.
Motion made by Lori, seconded by Shelley. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
Very similarly, and probably not needing any more introduction, you see the CISA 10 contract for 24-25 for the environmental health and safety contract.
I'll make a motion to approve the 24-25 environmental health and safety service contract with CISA 10 for $5,127.85.
Second.
Motion made by Kelly, seconded by Joni. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Tire changer, wheel balancer purchase.
Yeah, so this has actually kind of become a really exciting item, and there's two people at the table that know why. So this is for our new tech ed facility, and with the new auto area being added, we have wanted to add the tire ability to work on tires and change tires and balance tires and all of those types of things. Adam has been working on pricing and actually timed it really, really well. If you look at the original market value of these products versus the sale price that he's getting through Napa for them is outstanding. These are professional quality machines, which I think is incredibly important if you're dealing with the tires that kids are putting on their vehicles, that we have high quality equipment that's going to do it correctly. And so we're looking at a purchase for both items of $15,073. You'll see on here that that we had planned to cover this through an allowance for equipment in the referendum funds. And there is a chance of some portion may also be covered by a donation at a later date. Well, I believe there was a board meeting at First National Bank of Bangor last night, and they have agreed to donate the entire amount for this purchase. So a huge thank you. We will do some signage for that as well, and we'll make sure that we get a presentation with some of the board members from First National Bank of Bangor and thank them for this, but looking to make this purchase with donated dollars from First National Bank.
Well, I'd like to make that motion to accept because it's near and dear to me. I just want to say that Bill approached me a while ago to see if there was anything on the wish list that maybe wasn't going to be covered by budget dollars. And I said, man, you got perfect timing because we just expanded our tech ed program. And David and Mr. Credeville gave us some ideas, and the board recognizes the importance that the kids get to experiment in these trades and see kind of what they are comfortable with, what they like. Maybe a four-year school isn't what they want. So very happy. My son graduated in welding and automotive, so it's very personal to me as well. So I'm very proud. So I would like to make a motion to accept the donation of the $15,000 to make the purchase of the tire changer and coats balancer from Napa Auto Parts.
I'll second.
Motion made by Joni, seconded by Lori. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Wonderful news.
Thank you, Joni. Tech ed workbenches, similarly on coming out of the equipment allowance for the referendum. Adam has looked extensively for the right types of workbenches for the space, talked to a number of his tech ed peers, and a number of them have worked with Custom Fab or the Custom Fab and Machine LLC out of La Crosse to get some workbenches made. So they're what he wants specifically for the metals area with a insert for the vise, and then some especially for like the where will be small engines and auto type repair as well. So all on wheels, all very flexible, high quality products. So he did his homework on this, and again, I think he's got a good product here that will really accent that area well. So looking for a motion to approve the 5 custom-made workbenches from Custom Fab and Machine LLC at a cost of $11,500.
I'll move to approve the purchase of 5 custom-made workbenches from Custom Fab and Machine LLC at a cost of $11,500.
I'll second.
Motion made by Joni, seconded by Lisa. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
I'll abstain, Gene.
Thank you. Motion carried. All right, dental insurance renewal.
All right, we're to the insurance renewals, at least part of them for tonight. The dental insurance we have worked with, and our staff has benefited from Delta dental coverage for a number of years now. We did see a slight increase in the premium when it came to renewal time. Angie was at one of her network meetings and having some conversations, and a number of the people at the meeting from her, her peers were talking about the fact that they had switched their Delta dental coverage to a self-funded model. It's very easy to manage. Everything looks the same. In fact, our cards as employees for Delta Dental will not even change. So it will look and feel just like it is at the exact same premium. By going to the self-funded, we actually will be able to keep our premium the same. And if you look at the slide attached there, you can see the fully insured, the self-funded, and then the fully insured for 24-25, and you can see what we were paying this year. The self-funded premiums, they actually recommended a slight drop. And we had some conversations in this, and you'll look, no, we're proposing to keep the premiums exactly the same as what they are right now. So instead of dropping those premiums a little bit, any extra that we have there helps build up that self-funded fund in the first couple of years, and hopefully we won't need to increase that amount over the next few years. So that's why it is recommended in that way. So you're seeing the fully insured premium for 23-24 at $36.39 for a single, and a family of $113.45. Those are per month premiums. This would allow that to stay the exact same.
David, I have a question.
Yep.
So for the self-funded, is the insurance center still managing that, or is that something Angie has to do?
The insurance center still manages it. Instead of Angie writing a check, writing the premium checks throughout the year to Delta Dental, she gets invoiced on the actual expenses throughout the year. So she is paying at about the exact same frequency that she pays now.
Okay.
The same deductions from payroll will go to that account that then, the same money that we would have put towards our premium goes to that account, and we just pay for things as we go.
Okay. I was just wondering if it was going to increase her workload, that kind of thing. It might initially, but maybe that would even out, like...
It may initially. What folks have said is the hardest transition is we really need to be in employee navigator. To all of our employees need to be an employee navigator to make this transition. And the hardest part is getting your folks to employee navigator. We're already at employee navigator, so that part of it is already taken care of. So that will make it a little bit easier on her transition. So yes, it may be a little bit more frequently and just double checking, but I think well worth it for us to be able to plan for that. And hopefully, when we run well, instead of the insurance company keeping that difference, we build up for the following year, and that may mean we'll be able to give a better premium in the future years, or it may mean we are able to take that towards other purchases in the district, and that would be great as well, or hiring more staff, or whatever that may be. So it gives us the ability to kind of take a little bit more control and benefit from the usage.
Okay, thanks. If no one else has questions, I'll make a motion to move the 24-25 Delta Dental to self-funded plan with Delta Dental, with premiums being set at $36.39 per month for single plans and $113.45 per month for family plans.
I'll second that.
Motion made by Lori, seconded by Shelley. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Thank you. Ancillary benefit renewals.
Yeah, we usually get these as part of when we're renewing all of the insurance, and I just wanted to show you the breakdown of the employee assistance program that we have been funding, just the very slight changes to all of these costs for the renewals for next year. Some of those guaranteed rates, when we got those rates, they locked them in for a period of time, and you can see what that is at. So, any questions on any of those? Otherwise, we would just look to approve those all at once.
I'll move to approve the 24-25 ancillary benefit plans as presented.
Second.
Motion made by Joni, seconded by Kelly. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Thank you. All right. Hire middle school, high school vocal music teacher.
I know that Rick would have liked to have been here to be able to share this. He likes to talk about his hires and the process. I'll first of all just say a thank you to Dean Gunnarsson, who came in at the very last moment before school started, literally the very last moment. We told him to take a Monday off after his daughter's wedding, but come Tuesday, stepped in and really, carried our program through the year this year. So he is going to be able to officially retire and get to some of his retirement to-do list. And we thank him for stepping in and doing that this year. We interviewed 4 candidates for this position. When we had a little bit more time, we had some very good quality applicants, and the team was unanimous on the appointment of Ryan Stumkes. Ryan is currently the vocal music teacher at Gale Electric Trempealeau High School. If you have not Googled his groups at GET, you probably should. The work that he has done, especially with his a cappella groups that he's done up there, has garnered some huge attention across the state. He's been there 18 years, looking for another opportunity to build a program and really do some great things with a music program a little bit closer to home for him. And we are excited to have him on board. I know he was working today on a little letter that he'll be sending out to our families. We're already talking and thinking about with the musical usually in the fall. He's actually looking to do probably a spring musical next year because he really wants to get to know the kids before he casts them. So we will have it. It will just be timed a little bit differently, and he's going to kind of explain all of that. I think we're incredibly fortunate to have Ryan joining our team, and look forward to seeing what he will do over the next few years as he continues to build our vocal music program at the middle school and high school. So looking for the approval to hire Ryan Stumpkes as middle school, high school vocal jazz teacher. Or excuse me, vocal music teacher.
I'll make a motion to approve the hire of Ryan Stumpkes as middle high school vocal teacher, music teacher for the 24-25 school year.
I'll second.
Motion made by Shelley, seconded by Lisa. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Thank you. Administrative reports. We will start with Mr. Chaplin.
Thanks, Julie. First on there is Paraprofessional Appreciation Day. That was April 3rd. We have great paras that help with all our students here. Most of them are helping with special education, but I just want to recognize all the great work that they do, because sometimes it just doesn't get recognized maybe the way it should for all the work that they do. The other Administrative Assistants Appreciation Day is April 24th. So our great administrative assistants that we have working in the district, Jean especially for my things. So not that the other ones don't do a great job as well, but Jean especially. Special education outing. This is something that we've been doing for as long as I've been here. We take all students in special education down to the bowling alley. With all the things that are going on in the spring this year, we had to split it. So the elementary is going on the 26th and middle school, high school are going on the 11th. Just sometimes kids aren't able to get out in the community like sometimes we would wish that they could. And so this is an opportunity for them to get out there with supervised staff. And then all the great state testing that's going on. A lot of it is completed, but the forward exam and pre-ACT are in progress. Hopefully they'll be done in the next couple weeks, especially with the makeups. And then the early literacy screener still has to happen, and that's kind of getting revamped for next year. They just passed another act to delay some of it, so some of that will be changing, and actually the screener will go up to third grade next year. So,
Any questions for Mr. Chaplin? Thank you. Mr. Johnson.
Thank you, Julie. Just an update. Forward exam is kicked off yesterday. The third, fourth, and fifth grade students each took 2 literacy tests yesterday and a literacy exam today. So literacy is off the tables, they're done. There's been quite a change in the forward format. The amount, it's different, and how that the state, actually, they did some good things. Just helping the kids using technology to help the kids. For example, some questions ask for 2 parts response. And traditionally, kids would get, if you didn't submit a 2-part response, kids would often do 1 and, oh, I'm done, move on. And this now is flagging them and saying, hey, you need 2 responses here. So that's, I think, is actually a good thing. It's something good for the state. So to help our students out that way, so they're not getting dinged for things that they're just, forgetting to do, I guess. But anyway, 4th grade's a different animal. They've got lots more testing. They have social studies and science that goes with it. But as of tomorrow, 3rd and 5th grade will be done testing. So we compressed it a lot this year, talked to the kids about what their feelings and thoughts were on that kind of thing, and they appreciated having it shorter, more condensed, get it done type of thing. So I'm sure the 3rd and 5th graders will be ecstatic tomorrow afternoon, giving them a little extra recess time, that kind of stuff, to get them out there to enjoy a little fresh air, because that is important. I will say that this is something that worked out. It was kind of one of those things you didn't plan for. Having the new edition available and making the decision to wait and to do testing until the kids were in the new edition. We really, that whole long hallway is 3rd, 4th, and 5th grade. So literally just close the doors. It is dead quiet down there. and kids I think are having a much richer experience. They're taking their time. They appear to be engaged in it. It's just a really nice atmosphere for that, and the way the teachers are supporting them and all of that. I think the new edition really has created a learning environment that is great. That's going well, and hopefully be done tomorrow. The move into the new edition. Nothing like moving classrooms in the middle of a school year. Let's just do that again for fun. And I would say, just a shout out to the staff and the staff, classroom teachers that moved. It was like holding back, a wave of emotion, a wave of energy that was like, I was getting text messages. Can I get in Sunday night? Can I get in Saturday? Can I, knowing that Monday was going to be the day. And I think David, how many times did I ask? David stayed with it, so I appreciate that. Because I was getting big pressure, but the staff just, I keep repeating to them that you plan this stuff a year in advance with a vision of what it's going to look like, and you really do think of worst case scenarios and all of the stuff and all of those types of things, and it went so smooth. The staff got in there Friday. It would be Good Friday. David and I and a number of other people really worked our tails off for an entire day, moving stuff that was left behind, and then moving first grade into their new classrooms, because fifth grade had to get out. We had to clean that room, and first grade had to get in, all in a day, half a day. And I know I put on over 9 miles that day in my school alone, and I know David did too. And
35,000 steps.
Yeah, it was like a full day of just hauling. Had a 2-wheel cart. So I appreciate the work that went into that. And here's the commitment. There's a number of us there on Friday working so that Tuesday, when the staff got in there, they didn't have to move those things. They could just simply focus on the kids getting ready and that sort of thing. And I really appreciate that effort that goes into the above and beyond, the willingness, all of those types of things that happened on that day. So we're moved in, and then like Monday, I walk in and they're closed off the north and the south hallway in the old edition. They're like, "Oh, they weren't kidding." Like, it is different. I don't love it at all. It's pushing all of our traffic through the multipurpose room. Losing a bathroom or two is, we've worked around that, but nonetheless, like I said earlier, I'm looking forward to that project being done in the middle of August so we can settle in and really kick off the fall in a great place. But the addition is beautiful. I want to thank the community. I've tried to do that in a number of different ways, whether it's kids saying thank you, but they are so appreciative. The staff is so appreciative. And anybody, the Herald was in there today, Monroe County Herald was in today to take pictures and to see that, and he's just there. Everybody's just like, whoa. It's that large hallway, how they already are using that space to improve their connections with kids, the shortness of, being able to go out there and use that space in an educational way where you don't have to go all the way down the hallway to a different classroom or all those types of things. It's cutting travel time. It's creating meaningfulness. It's quiet. It's just a really great space, beautiful space. So I thank everybody for that. But the move is done, and can't wait for May 23rd and 24th so we can do that again. What else? Oh, map testing is just, really this is tough. Josh talked about the screener. More to come on that. Act 20, if you haven't, I'm sure just some light reading for you guys. It's out there, and some requirements that we're going to have to do as a district. And those requirements that are coming by July 1st of 25 will be something to deal with, and we already have a plan in place for a lot of that. So, but with the screener, MAP is our spring screener. We're going to wait till May just to get them away from forward a little bit, and then get that going on. But you'll see a little bit of a change next fall with some of the screeners we have to do because of state mandates. So,
any questions for Mr. Johnson? Thank you. Mr. Brockup, do you have anything else?
Yeah, I put a note on there for Rick, who is at the honors banquet in La Crosse, and I put a note there and remind me when you guys go back to closed session, I'll give you a list of students. As we know, we have volunteer hour requirements. If you're going to graduate, you have to get those hours in. And we still have a list, believe it or not. We always have a list. So I will share that with you. And they have been communicated with multiple times, and they will continue to be communicated with. And we usually find a way to get it done, but some like to wait till the last possible moment. So we will keep you posted on that, just giving you that reminder. I wanted to reiterate just on kind of a couple things that Mike said on that transition into the school. Again, that team, our custodial team, was amazing. John and Cole were amazing. Not only did they have all of our new technology up and ready in the new spaces, we saved the boxes from all of the screens that we purchased. They modified them, took down all of the screens from the rooms that we were leaving, and reboxed them in the modified boxes, have them all packaged up so they're protected. So then at the end of summer, they can get them out of those boxes again and put them back up in spaces throughout the building. So just a heads up or a shout out to those guys as well, and getting everything up and running. I've got two things on there. One, bus inspections happened today, and I guess I'll just say this: this is the first time we have ever had bus inspections that happen during the school year, which means if you have a bus put out of service, that has an immediate impact on your life versus you've got the rest of summer to get a couple of repairs done. And most of the repairs are fairly minor, and we can get those taken care of. It just takes a couple of days and a little bit of time. Unfortunately, we had a number of things flagged today. So when we talk about those end of year dollars, I will very likely be back here talking to you about buses. We did have two that the inspector's recommended that did not go back on the road, period. So that doesn't surprise me totally with the age of some of our buses. Again, we'd like to get to that place where we were doing one a year, and the years that we've skipped has caught up to us, and that's just where that is there. There are some minor things, some parts that I literally standing there watching the inspector today was on the phone and ordering parts that will be at Cletus's tomorrow, and Cletus will have those parts on tomorrow, and it'll be ready for the afternoon route. Just some simple things so that we're back up and running. But it was definitely. I don't love it during the middle of the school year. It was much better in the summer, and I had another month or two to get all those things taken care of before we get back and up and running. But Inspector did a very great, did a very thorough job and worked with us on making sure that we could have the buses on the road and safe going forward. The other part, I think we've had on our agenda, on the consent agenda, that opening of a custodian for a very long time. We have been incredibly fortunate at the elementary school to have somebody coming in and working at night, and they have committed to working with us next year. So I'll have it on the agenda for next month, and looking at doing kind of a special contract that's just on school days where there's kids, which is what our number one need is. In the summers and on the PD days and those types of things, we can cover those buildings with the custodial staff we have, but to have somebody cleaning at the elementary at nights is incredibly important. And we finally got her talked into that, and I'll have that on the agenda for next month. So that's a huge hole that we've had open and filled with subs and making things happen. She's actually been subbing for us for a while, but to get her locked in is going to be outstanding for us. So I just wanted to give you a heads up on that.
So is that just for a year?
We've got her for next year, and then we'll look at the year after
all right.
that.
I didn't know if you meant just a year. Okay.
Yep. So all of those types of contracts get 1 year at a time, or letters of appointment get 1 year at a time. So that will be outstanding for us. So just wanted to give you a heads up on that. That's all I got.
Any questions for Dr. Brockup? Okay. Removal of items from the consent agenda. We have 2 items on the consent agenda. Current openings, and then round 2 elementary furniture purchase adjustment.
The furniture that's on this list, this is the first time we're seeing this list, right?
No, that was included last month.
Okay.
All of the areas we covered with
So
that.
these aren't new. This is
Correct.
just here to see, because
Yep.
I thought we covered all these.
So you approved me a not to exceed amount last month of $97,000. And I exceeded that by $2,864.
Oh, so you're just giving us the full
So
list
I'm
again,
giving you the
that's it.
full transparency and letting
Okay.
you approve the extra $2,864.
Got it.
Nothing new. The prices changed a little bit on the, really it boiled down to the shelving in the library. And Angie and I have talked about that. We've had money for about 8 or 9 years sitting in an account that was donated towards our library. We will use that for this and a couple of other furniture type purchases in our library. Because it doesn't do us any good sitting in an account. So that will cover this difference. There's still no money coming out of referendum for all of the elementary, or as you can see, there's a number of things there for the middle school, high school as well.
I'll make a motion to approve the consent agenda.
Second.
Motion made by Shelley, seconded by Lori to approve the consent agenda. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. So we will be returning to closed session. I'll need a motion.
Second.
Motion made by Joni, seconded by Tina. We'll take a roll call vote, starting with Joni.
Aye.
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 Thank you.
And there'll be no action after that, so you guys can shut down the cameras. We'll adjourn in closed session. Thanks.